Hello children, this is your social science teacher going to teach you about your important terms to know regarding chapter number 4, that is agriculture. As previously we have studied about different crops, climate, temperature, rainfall, soils, and technological and institutional reforms regarding agricultural sector. Steps have been taken by government for its improvement, and overall I want to give you some overview of these things. First term is primary activities. This is an economic activity that involves extracting natural resources like agriculture, where crops grow by extracting nutrients from the soils, right? That is very primary activity, and it provide raw material to industry and as well as food grains to the citizen, to us, to the people. Subsistence farming, next one is, this type of farming is practice that provides enough food for the farmers and his family but not enough for the sale. It is only to fulfill the needs of family. Because we know that in subsistence farming there are limited number of resources, size of land holding is small, tools are less, workers are also less in number. They cannot hire more and more workers according to the need of their land limitations. Then third one is green revolution. That is one very significant step in increase the agricultural productivity resulting from the introduction of HYV. HYV stands high yielding variety of seeds, grains, and use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides and improved management techniques are used for this green revolution. It meant to say there is increase in the maximum yielding of crops, especially wheat and rice, in the states of Punjab, Haryana, etc. This was during 1960s. It was implemented. Its major target, its major objective was to make India self-sufficient in food grains. The government used this policy for the different cropping pattern, reduce environmental degradation, fruits, medicine, herbs, flowers, and different type of other things also included in it. Then India's varied climate and geography can be used to grow a wide range of high value crops. So in this way, this is all about green revolution. Sometime 3 marks question can be asked on it. That's why I gave you some detail. And then there are millets. It is a type of crop, small seeded grass that grow well in dry areas, even such as cereal crops like ragi, bajra, jawar. And these are the major crops of Rajasthan, or we can say semi-arid region and desert area. Then there is molasses. Molasses, it is a thick dark syrup received after refining sugarcane and is used in flavoring foods. ये शुगर केन से लिया जाता है. Like there is one juice also, sugar cane juice, but it is something extra from the leftovers after taking the juice. From that this syrup is received and it is refined and used in flavoring the foods, right? In food product industry it is used. Then beverage crop. What are the beverage crops? These are the crops where that crops are used and processed and used to make a liquid that is fit for human consumption, like we can say tea, coffee, or come in this category. Then next word is humus, the topmost layer of the soil surface containing organic matter that increases the fertility of the soil. That increases the fertility of the soil. This is one property of clay soil and black soil that holds humus and beneficial for the cultivation of sugarcane and rice type of crops. Then equatorial crops. Equatorial, as it is clear from the name, that nearby equator region and equatorial type of climate. The crops grown in equatorial region, which remains hot and humid throughout the year, such as rubber, tea, coffee, etc. These are the equatorial crops. The next one is collectivization. It means the farmers would like to gather together into large farm. These are mostly small farmers having small land holdings, and they try to gather together into one large farm so that farmers can work collectively. It was the first started in USSR, and that was started by Stalin's collectivism. In Russian Revolution, you may have read in your ninth class, he started this system that small farmers pooled their land to get a larger one and get profit collectively. It was first started, as I told you, in USA and promoted in India during the time period of Green Revolution, because for any type of revolution mass production is done, and for that mass production large holdings are needed. And then there is also called agrarian reforms. Next word is land reforms, that is agrarian, related to agriculture, that we have studied in our technical and institutional reforms also. And these were initiated by Government of India for redistribution of agricultural land to improve the efficiency of agriculture and bring social justice to the rural people. For in simple words, I used to tell it, consolidation of the land, chakbandi, right, and pooling the land, giving the different type of jamidara system improvement, that whole come in this category. Permanent settlement, mahalwari settlement, all these things were removed from Indian agricultural this land reforms under, and it was initiated first by Japan, and India adopted it, copied it from there, and good result to increase the GDP of the country. Then next one is sericulture, rearing of silkworm for production of silk fiber. That is type of agriculture, sericulture, horticulture, right? 4-5 type of this type of agricultures are there that are specially for one specification. Then white revolution, it is also called flood operation. This revolution aimed at increasing the production of milk by setting up milk processing centers, milk cooperatives, good transport system, and India is the largest producer of milk, right? India is the largest producer of milk. Green revolution and this revolution were started simultaneously. Then our next topic is impact of globalization on agriculture. Agriculture, as we have studied in very detail, its types, differences, right? And globalization mean to say the existing form of time colonization. During 19th century, different countries of the world came together to grow different type of crops, encouraged to grow species which were exported to many countries of the world. Even today, some spices are also one of the most important export from India, that is from South India. Spices जिसे हम मसाले बोलते हैं. Cotton was also exported to mills in the Manchester and Liverpool for textile industry when India was under colonialism. That time Manchester, they used to take cotton and cotton textile from India, and indigo was also exported to Britain for textile industry. You know that indigo was not needed at all in India. It was the major need of Britishers. That's why they have started to grow indigo in India and sell it, expand it all over the world on huge profits, and that whole sold profit goes to the London only, to the Britain only. And this forced indigo production and started चंपारण movement in 1917 in Bihar. हमने हिस्ट्री में भी पढ़ा था ये. Agriculture has assumed a different dimension now. Farmers in Europe and America are highly subsidized by their government, and in this way our farmers are not able to compete with them their own prices. So under globalization, particularly after 1990, the farmers in India have been exposed to a new challenges. The green revolution has resulted in land degradation and drying up of aquifers and vanishing biodiversity. So in this way, this is all about for today your topic, major terms and impact of globalization on agriculture. Please prepare its notes and start writing also and learning also. This up to this point your first term syllabus is over. Bye student, take care.